Hi, welcome to my video on find the intersection of a parabola and a line algebraically. Finding the intersection is same in solving a series of equations. But before we do that, let me outline what the possibilities are when we have a line and a parabola. Intersection of a parabola and a line. Case 1, we could have one point where the parabola and the line intersects. So if I have a positive slope goes up to the right and is intersecting at one point, let's say right there. If I have, notice that this parabola is moving up, that means the A value in the equation is positive, or I could have the line negative intersecting. There's the negative slope goes up to the left, or a negative slope goes down to the right, and the point of intersection is right there. We could have a parabola that's going downward, which means the A value in the equation is negative. So if we have a positive slope, one line could be intersect right there, and it's touching at one point. Now, there are many that we could draw like this. I'm only just drawing one of them. I could have another one intersecting right here at one point, like this. But you got to be careful. Just only intersecting at one point. Or we could have it right here, and this is a negative slope. Again, this negative slope of a line goes up to the left, or it goes down to the right. And in each of these cases, we say that this line that touches or intersects the curve at one point is a tangent. A line that intersects a curve at one point is a tangent. So these four lines here are tangents to this curve. Another case we have is where we have a parabola and the line intersects the parabola at 2 points. So here's a positive slope again, going up to the right, and it intersects at 2 points. Or we could have a negative slope. The line has a negative slope, intersects at these 2 points. Notice these two parabolas are opening up, which means the A value is positive. These two parabolas are opening down, which means the A value in the equation is negative. So a positive slope of a line is this one, and is intersecting at these 2 points. Or the negative slope of a line is like this. This line is intersecting parabola at 2 points. So this is the case where the line intersects the parabola at 2 points. And then there's the case where there's no intersection. So notice that this parabola is opening up, and notice that this line is not intersecting the parabola at all. Or we could have a negative slope of a line, and there's the negative slope, and it doesn't intersect the parabola. Or even if the parabola opens down, notice that this line does not intersect the parabola. Or we can draw this positive slope, and it doesn't intersect the parabola. So notice there's no intersection between the parabola and the line. And in this case, if you were solving, you would get an imaginary number when you're solving the equation, trying to find the points of intersection. And the point of intersection of a parabola and a line is really what we call solving the system of equations. But the system of equations, one is quadratic and one is linear. There could be two quadratics that we're solving. Find the intersection algebraically. When I say algebraically, because in the next video I'm going to solve a system graphically. But the best way to solve a system is algebraically. If I have two equations, y equals x squared minus 2x minus 3, y equals 2x minus 7, I let the two equations, values of x equal each other. Y is equal to this value expression, and y is equal to this. Therefore, x minus 2 minus 3 is equal to 2x minus 7 because they're both equal to y's. That's the transitive property or the substitution property. Now that I have the values of x equal, I will solve. That means I will move the values of x to the left and the constants to the left, make it equal to 0. And when I do, I have a negative 4x plus 4. And I have a quadratic equal to 0, so if I can factor this, I have a 1. So the product is 4 and the sum is negative 4. So that's 2 brackets, x and x. The product is 4 and the sum is negative 4. So that means that two numbers, 4 and 1, 2 and 2, it has to be 2 and 2. And the product is positive and the sum is negative, it's got to be 2 negatives. So negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4. Add up, I get negative 4. That means I have x minus 2 equals 0, or x minus 2 is equal to 0. So x is 2. So notice that x is 2 each time. That means, let's see, we can plug in x equals 2 into the equation. Now I'm going to sub it into the equation of the line. It's easier. To sub it into the equation of a line, you got less work to do. You could sub it into this quadratic for x, but the line is better because you got less values of x. So I'm subbing negative 2. I'm subbing sub x equals 2 into this equation. And put a 2 in for negative 3. So that means when x equals 2, y is equal to negative 3. But x is equal to 2 twice. And that means that, well, you only got to do one of them. You can't, there's no good to do the other one again because they're equal. So that means they intersect at one point. That means that this parabola and this line, this is a parabola because it's x squared. This is linear because it's just x to the power of 1. So this line and the parabola intersect at the intersection is 2, negative 3, which is 1 point. So that means that y equals 2x minus 7 is tangent to the parabola. Tangent because there's only one point of intersection. Okay, let's continue. So that's illustrating solving algebraically when we have one point of intersection and the line is tangent to the curve. Find the intersection algebraically. Let's do some work. Again, if you want to pause the video and work these out for yourself, work them out first to see if you get the right answer. So here we go. X squared minus 4x plus 4 is equal to negative x plus 2. They're both equal to y, so they're equal to each other by transitive property or substitution. X squared minus 4x plus 4 minus 2 equals 0. So we have x squared. Add up the x's, we get a negative 3x. Add up the numbers, we get a plus 2. And again, we have a quadratic, and there's the 1 here, so that means we have a product of 2 and a sum of negative 3. So the factors, because that's a 1, we can go x and x. Easy to do. Factors of 2 are 2 and 1. So 2 and 1 to give you 3. The product is positive. The sum is negative. It has to be 2 negatives. Multiply. 2. Add. Negative 3. So x minus 2 is equal to 0. X minus 1 is equal to 0. X is equal to 2. X is equal to 1. Notice now we have two values of x, so we have to work out each value of x. So when x is 2, we're going to sub x equals 2 into, and we can number this as number 1, label this as number 2 into number 1. So we're going to sub that into y equals negative x plus 2. Again, it's easier to put the 2 into the linear because there's only one value of x. You could put it into the quadratic, and you'll have to work to sub it into the 2x's. So it's easier to do it into the linear. But no matter which one you sub into, you will still get the same y value. And that's x is negative 2, so it's the negative of 2 plus 2. That's negative 2 plus 2 is 0. So that means we have x is 2, y is 0. Now we're going to sub x equals 1. So we did 2. We got a 0 for y. Now I'm going to do x is 1 into number 1. Again, sub into the linear less values. The negative of 1 plus 2. And again, there's negative 1 plus 2. So y is 1. So the point is x is 1, y is 1. So we have 2 points of intersection. So that means that this parabola, because it's y equals ax squared plus bx plus c, is a parabola. Because this is a linear, the values, the degree of this is, that's a line, y equals negative x plus 2. The degree of x and y are 1, so it's a line. And so the line intersects the parabola at 2 points. So there's 2 points of intersection. And how do you know? Well, if you sub this point, x and y, into both equations, it'll be true. If you take this point, 1, 1, and sub it into both equations, it'll be true. So there's 2 points of intersection. Number 2, again, if you want to pause the video and work out your own answer first, go ahead. But because they're both equal to y, then 3x plus 6x plus 3 equals 3x plus 1. So we have to go with all variables on the left, which I'll do. So I'm moving all variables and numbers to the left to make it equal to 0. So the plus 3x becomes a minus, the plus 1 becomes a minus, and I simplify. 6x minus 3x is 3x. 3 minus 1 is 2. Now, we can try to factor this. Let's see, the product is, because the 3 is not a GCF, 3 times 2 is 6, and the sum is 3. The sum is right here. So what's the factors of 6? 6 and 1, and 3 and 2. But 6 and 1 will never give me a 3. If I add, I get 7. If I subtract, I get a 5. 3 and 2 will never give me a 3, because if I add, I'll get 5. If I subtract, I'll get 1. So I can't do this by factoring. I can't get the factors. So I have to use the quadratic formula. A, B, and C. So x equals negative b plus or minus b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. B is 3, so that's the negative of 3 plus or minus. B is 3. A is 3. C is 2. All over 2 times A is 3. So that gives me negative 3 plus or minus. So let's work this out separately right here. I'm going to take this and work it out over here. 3 squared is 9. And a negative 4 times 3 times 2 is 12, is a negative 24. And that gives me a negative 15. So I put the negative 15 in there, all over 6. Negative 3 plus or minus, square root of a negative 15. It's a negative number, so it's an I. Can't simplify root 15 because it's 5 times 3 is not a perfect square, all over 6. Now, because this is an I, that means there's imaginary roots, so that means there's no intersection. That means the line and the parabola do not intersect. There's no intersection because you got imaginary roots. And another one to do. So what happens? We have to go x squared plus 3x minus 1 equals 3, both equal to y. That means x squared plus 3x minus 1 minus 3 is equal to 0. Again, because I have a quadratic, I'm going to make it equal to 0. X squared plus 3x minus 4 equals 0. And that means that's a 1 here, so that's a bracket, double bracket. X squared is x and x. The product is negative 4. The sum is 3. Factors of 4 are 4 times 1, or 2 times 2. What pair of factors will give me a 3? It's 4 and 1. And because the product is negative, these two numbers must be a plus and a minus. But because the sum is plus, I'll go plus 4 minus 1. Check. Multiply. 4 times negative 1, negative 4. Add. Plus 3. And I have x plus 4 equals 0, or x minus 1 equals 0. X is negative 4, or x is 1. And let's work out, we have x is negative 4. So if x is negative 4, notice I got y is 3. So if x is negative 4, y is 3. So that's the point, negative 4, 3. And if x is 1, y is 3. So that's the point 1, 3. Notice y is 3 all the time. So if y is 3, I don't have to go and find out what y is because it's already done for me. And again, to explain, notice y equals 3. Y equals 3 is a horizontal line. And let me explain. If I have the parabola and I got a horizontal line at 3, so no matter what the parabola, pretend, I'm just going to draw any parabola now. I'm not worried about where the vertex is. I know it's going up. I notice the vertex is down here. I'm just drawing the parabola at random. The parabola opens up because that's plus. But y is 3 right here. So y is 3 is a horizontal line right there. So that means if y is 3, this x coordinate and this x coordinate. So x's, I have x's negative 4. And let's pretend that's that point there. X is negative 4, y is 3. And this point is x is 1 and y is 3. A horizontal line has the y values the same. So once I found the x values, I just had to go negative 4, 3, 1, 3, because y is 3. I didn't have to work out the y. The y is already done for me. The y coordinate is y is 3 after you find the x's. So notice it's a horizontal line. This is a parabola. And a horizontal line, y equals 3, intersecting the parabola at 2 points. And that's solving a system of equations by algebraically, and a system of equations. One is a quadratic and the other one is a linear. And sometimes they call it a system of simultaneous equations. It's not linear equations where the two of them are linear, two of them are lines. This is a quadratic and a line. So it's, notice I let the equations equal to each other, let the x values equal each other, and solve it out by working on the quadratic, either factoring or quadratic formula. And if you like my video, click on the like button, the subscribe button, and the notification bell. And visit my website, www.mathfullyexplained.com, to find more information about me, my videos, and the content. And that's the content that's on my YouTube channel called Math Fully Explained. Thank you for viewing my video. Bye-bye.